Hi guys, welcome to this week's episode. Hope you've had an amazing week. I am ready to share some serious tea with you. Stay tuned. Right, so guys, here's the deal. I look like trash. I'm really sorry about that. But I've got more important things to discuss than the way my face looks. Anyway, so I want to talk about rejection. And it's a really difficult subject to talk about because not many people want to admit that they've been rejected or that they're afraid of rejection. And I will be the first person to put my hands up and say I have previously been really frightened of being rejected or being told no. This is something that I've battled with my whole life, not just for my career, but for most things. And I'm sure most people will agree that nobody likes to be told they're not good enough or they're not needed or whatever. But I think it's really important. I think in this industry where everybody's looking for something and, you know, what you offer may not necessarily be what they're looking for, there is the tendency to really avoid going for things for the fear of people saying, I don't really want you, you're not what we're looking for, or you're not good enough, or you're not tall enough. Whatever the reason they reject you, people avoid rejection. I feel like it's detrimental to careers because actually if you never take a chance, how else would you get opportunities that are presented in ways that we're not used to seeing? I'll give you an example. I mean, I went for an audition for Sister Act the musical and I didn't get it and I was gutted because I'm like, I'm the perfect candidate. I know that world. I've watched the movie a million times and I'm really good at singing. I still didn't get it, but actually from that was born other creative roles that were perfect fit for me and I got those roles. The reason why I say that is because of late I've been experiencing situations where I have received work that I found out later was originally offered to other people. And whilst I'm not trying to rock any boats, what I will say is that sometimes, like myself, when I've been in the game for such a long time, you can get really complacent and you can kind of let things slip. Things that you usually wouldn't do, you start doing because you think, oh, it's fine. I know the person well enough, or I've worked with this artist before, or the studio producer is really into me, so it doesn't matter if I do certain things. It can be very easy to fall into a situation where you get bad habits. And I want to implore you guys that you should never get comfortable with a situation. And it's easy to do because in this industry it's all about cliques. A lot of people know different people and they think, oh, because I've got a relationship with that producer or I've got a relationship with that artist, that's enough. It's really not enough. So when it comes to business, what you don't want to do is treat it like a personal relationship, and that's easy to do because creatives tend to act in a more socially fluid way, as in relationship roles are not clearly defined, so it can be easy to blur what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. And so to be safe, I say always maintain a professional attitude towards people, even if they're your friends. I.e., if you know that turning up 15 minutes late is okay, don't make that a habit. Do not make it a habit. Or if you know that when you get to the rehearsal, no one's going to know the material, so it's no point in you learning it, that is a bad attitude to take, because one day you'll do it to the wrong set of people and then they will judge you as if you're not good enough, when you know you are. You just didn't do the necessary work to do that session. And I think it's really dangerous ground to actually pretend like these things do not matter. So whilst people might not let you know, they do matter. So make sure you don't get complacent. And if you do get rejected or you do get complacent and you get kicked off a gig, or you don't get something because you didn't do the necessary prep, don't be surprised. It's not something that is personal. It's that, if someone else is going for the same job as you, or someone working with the same artist as you, and they're hungry for it, they really want it, they're going to pick somebody who they know is going to do the job and do it well and deliver something extra special. And I think that's fair. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I know for me, and I'll use my own self as an example because it's happened to me many times, where I've gotten really complacent and then I look on the TV and the same gig that I was doing, I see someone else doing it. And I'm like, wow, That was really cold, not telling me, and then all of a sudden seeing someone else in my spot. But I have to, if I check myself and I look back and think, did I do all my homework? Did I do the necessary things? Was I complacent with the artist? Was I a bit too familiar? Did I make sure that I turned up on time? And sometimes the answer is no, which means that somebody else who is doing those things is fulfilling the role properly. And that's the only thing that I would say. I just say that, guys, it's easy to get complacent, especially when you've been doing it for a long time. And for those of you who are just starting, you've got good habits, and I implore you to maintain them, even when it feels like everything is safe. Because this industry is not safe sometimes. There are times when you think, wow, it's safe, I don't need to worry, the job is mine indefinitely, I don't have to worry about anybody taking it or them giving it away to someone else. That is a really bad move. Just saying. If you love what you do what is necessary to keep that love alive, because that actually impacts the way you approach your work. Secondly, do not get complacent. It's easy to do when you've been doing a job for a very long time, and it's not just in music, it's across the board. But with music, there's no real contracts that are exchanged, so you're not safe. You don't have a job security contract, which means that you're never going to be fired, and if they do fire you, they have to give you a month's notice. It doesn't work like that in music. One day you're doing the gig, the next day you see somebody else in your spot. So please don't ever get complacent. And lastly, always be brushing up on your skills. I think I mentioned in the 5 tips, which is a new segment that we do. And that segment is about giving people tips about how to be really great in the music industry and what things that people need to know in order to progress career-wise and also personally. And I gave a tip about being the first call. And I always say to people, it's not just about what you do in terms of your musicality, it's also about the other stuff that surround that. And I'm really, really passionate about doing your best work. Like, regardless of whether anyone's watching, having integrity and saying, you know what, I'm a singer or I'm a musician, I'm good at what I do, and I need to demonstrate that at every available opportunity whilst enjoying my creativity. And I say that across the board, whether you're a singer, a triangle player, a guitarist, whatever, even a visual artist. I really always implore people to do your best work, even if it might not be published or might not be seen or you might not get that contract. It's important that you do that regardless, because the moment you don't is probably the moment where that opportunity comes and you lose out because that one time you didn't give 100%. To avoid that, give 100% every time. And then when you get that call, you're ready for it. You've done all the necessary work. You've got a good work ethic. Everything works in a way that's organized and put together. And you feel good about the fact that you've done your best work. So guys, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with all the videos we post. We post every week. We're also on social media. So if you like to interact there, we're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat and Google+, so wherever you are, we're there too. All that remains for me to say is stay tuned for next week's episode, and thanks for watching. Bye guys.